Pep Talk UK, live and direct once more, 2 meters apart with my guy, reacquainted with the voice of reason, Mr. Dean Whyte. How you doing, bro?
How you doing, man? All good, man. We're back.
Boxing is back. You excited?
Yeah, absolutely, man. I'm looking forward to watching some of the fights that they put on. They're making some real good cards at the minute. They've announced that what's his name, Lerone Richardson's gonna fight Umar Sadiq. Hell of a fight. And there's a few others, but that's the standout fight for me. And I'm just looking forward to the coming weeks where it starts to slowly gather momentum. The British Boxing Board starts to allow crowds, after a duration, time by time. But over the next few months, hopefully by September, it'd be nice if we could get back to that a little bit more of a small hall. And we can get back to the good old days where they're singing and chanting, the fans and people coming to watch their favourite fighters. But right now I'm just happy that boxing is back. We'll be able to watch it and witness. But then how does it affect some of the boys? Like when sometimes you're down and you hear your guys, your fans singing and chanting, it makes you rally. It gives you that extra 10% and that push. How do they go and perform? But sometimes some people can perform irrespective of who's there and whatnot. It'd be like probably sparring in a gym somewhat. You know what I mean? So, but it's a big fight. It is a shame that it's not on on an event where there is a crowd, because I think it's a really good fight.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we spoke with Bob Arum only a week ago, and he was ready to relaunch boxing back.
Yeah.
How do you reckon that went? The top ranked show?
No, they've done a few shows since then anyway. But that particular show you were talking about with Shakur Stevenson was a good show. He went out there, excellent talent, brilliant southpaw. Went out there, putting a great performance, and he moves on. And they've gone and done a few other shows. I watched the show this weekend. These guys were literally, was it DeMarco and another guy? I can't recall the two names, but I know it was definitely DeMarco. That fight, they were trading some leather to the body. Those guys are really strong and durable. But they've been putting on back-to-back shows. What are they doing? Tuesdays. Every Tuesday are they doing top rank?
Yeah.
Something like that. But they're putting a few shows since then. But I mean, they're going to pioneer and lead the way. But then what's going to happen is the others will follow, and the others will be allowed to see if there's any errors and try and pick up on that. And I'm surprised actually, because look, Frank Warren's first out of the trap. Got his show on July the 10th, and he's got a few others, 1, 2, and 3. I'm not surprised. I thought it would have been Eddie Hearn probably being one of the first out of the traps to get their announcement, get their show on the road. But maybe he's probably just sitting back just to see it again, also to see if people make mistakes and he can capitalize on that and say, well, this is what they did wrong, this is what they did. Let me not make those mistakes and come in fresher, more vibrant, and more new and without the errors. But it's good that someone's going to take the leap of faith and just go and do the thing and say, Charles, let me run my thing, car. It is what it is, you know what I mean? But I'm just looking forward to it, and I'm sure the fans are looking forward to it, man, you know what I mean?
What I find interesting, you mentioned people were going ahead first to put on events. I think what I saw in the football was pretty interesting with the artificial sound, the artificial crowd noise, which was quite interesting.
Yeah, it was really good, and it sounded very realistic. But I mean, if they do that in boxing, it would be great. But is it going to be as good? I mean, the FA, and you're talking about football, they got a lot of money in there. Boxing's got a lot of money, but if you're talking about the lower levels, I've got a fair mind that they probably spent a fair bit to do that and get it to the quality that it was at, for that event. You know what I mean? In boxing, I don't think they, especially on the lower level, they wouldn't probably, put their money in like that and maybe go to that. They might do it, but I don't know if it's going to sound as good. We're going to see, and then we can make comparables how good it was compared to that particular football match and that particular show when they do it. But I think it would make for interesting, especially obviously for the guys in there hearing the chants and it kind of making them feel like they're at home. They're really at home. But only thing that would be different is they won't be hearing their own fans cheering them on. If you get my meaning.
Generic. I'm just trying to imagine Sweet Caroline artificially.
He better hum that in his head in the ring. When he's hearing the bells go off with the punches, he might hit you. He might hum it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but what I wanted to really ask you about was the video that kind of emanated over the weekend. Yeah. Deontay Wilder twerking in the video. I mean, twerking. What do you make of all that?
Well, he's keeping that some little mad fruity thing, but boy, I'm not surprised if truth be told, because I remember a little while ago I was talking about it. The man, he puts weave in his head, so you know, for usually don't understand what weave is, like, you know, it's like false hair extensions to, you know, like to get that. See how he's got that little dread plait thing and what he's got? His hair isn't that long. If you go back and watch some of his previous kind of press conference where 1 minute he's got short hair, he's got little plaits at the top here, just at the top here, and then in the next videos he's got long ones going down his back. Like, I mean, we're talking about in a small space of time. Even if it's between 6 months, he's never going to grow hair that long. It's going to take a very, very long time, and then afterwards you see him that he's not got them anymore. So, you know, I mean, America's different to the UK, you know what I mean? Not trying to defend anything like that, but I mean, they do some different stuff anyway, you know what I mean? But Wilder, yeah, he's moving mad in there. He looks like he's a professional at what he was doing, so, you know, he might come out and tell us something in the future. We might see him in the colourful and rainbow colours soon. And you know that there was a boxer that came out to be one of the first gay world champions, or to fight for a world title. He used to fight in pink. He was from a Latin guy.
Orlando, blah blah blah. Yeah. Orlando
so
something. Yeah.
We might hear something soon from you know, Wilder, and he might come out and tell us something. What's going? I don't know. But hey, listen, maybe he was having a little banter with his people, or whatever. But listen, it's crazy. It's a bit, you know, I don't know. You know, I don't want to go too into his thing, but like I said, the man's done a few things in the past that's, you know, suggested he's in touch with his feminine side a lot more than, you know, one would imagine from the former WBC world champion. He's
meant to be preparing for a third fight with Tyson Fury, the trilogy. I saw something from Eddie Hearn probably a month ago, so saying that Wilder is finished. I mean, with a man of that immense power, would you kind of agree or not?
No, I'm not going to agree with that. Listen, Eddie is just, Eddie. I like Eddie. Eddie's done great for boxing. Is Eddie still trying to sort out Dillian's fight with Tyson Fury, or is he just happy?
Well, the news is he's pushing that to happen before any potential Joshua fight, or fight, shall I say?
That's a bit weird, isn't it? You make a very, very big fight with, you know, two champions before you make with the number one contender and the mandatory, and now you're saying you're trying to negotiate beforehand. But what you got to look into this is, how you look at this is, he believes Dillian's going to get beat. If he's trying to, because he's already matched those two to fight. So if he's saying, oh, I'm going to try and get Dillian to fight, think about it. You're actually saying, well, I believe that you're probably going to lose because I've made the fight with Tyson Fury and Joshua, and that is the bigger fight, if you get my meaning. Look at it like that. Why would you say, or are you saying, you know, you'd hope for him to win and then Dillian fights AJ? You know, I don't believe that's the analogy, how the angle, if you get what I'm trying to say here. For me, looking like, well, he was saying, well, we're going to get Dillian's fight out of the way, and then Tyson and AJ can fight after. That's what he said. Is that not what he said?
Well, I'm under the, well, not directly, not directly, but obviously he says, look, you know, Dillian's been pushing for a long time. The idea is to get his title shot in place. But again, some people might see your argument and say, well, isn't that also as well suggesting that the other fight can happen later? I don't know either. Listen,
Eddie's done a great job for boxing. He's done good for his boys, and like he said, he's made a lot of millionaires, made them a lot rich. He's given these guys a platform to live their dream and do their best. So, you know, but at the same time, I just feel like it's unfair for Dillian in the situation we're in. Let's see what happens. I did read something that, I think it was in the Sun today, or was it yesterday, that they were saying that the WBC is trying to force Tyson Fury that he has to defend his belt against Dillian beforehand. So let's see what happens if that is the case. But he's already stated, listen, if they try to do that, I'm more than just a belt. I'm more than the WBC champion. I'm a lineal world champion. This belt means nothing. I'm happy to relinquish this and move forward. So he said, I'm not going to be forced into fighting Dillian. You know, so it's however it goes. Listen, Dillian's in a good place, and hopefully he just gets his shot in February 2021.
All roads probably lead to, if there's a debate about this, again, what's been kind of bandied about this whole franchise, elevated to franchise, it seems like that potentially is probably going to happen, right?
You know, if that happens, it's good as well. I don't know. Obviously, I know Dillian would rather fight one of those, you know, either the Fury or Deontay Wilder, one of them. But I'm sure, you know, he would take it if it's the opportunity arose and that was what was on the table. Or if they made it that the Twerking fight is for the full WBC world title or the regular WBC title, you know, I'm sure that's an avenue they might look at. But I'm just speculating until they actually say X, Y, Z, because obviously it's down to him solely and his team. I guess that's going to decide, you know, what's best and what they think is good for him.
Just to conclude, the return of Big Baby Miller, July 9th.
Okay.
What do you make of that?
And who's he fighting?
Unnamed opponent so far.
Okay. I saw him online. He's looking alright. He's looking elusive. He's looking maybe PhD free. I don't know. He looks good. He looked like he was shaking up. He was slipping shots nice. He looked alright. He's a problem anyway. He's a big old lummox. He's a problem. He's, you know, when he was on the old razzmatazz, he was quite fit. Let's see how he performs, you know. Let's see what he does. Let's see if he can continue that kind of insane punch output, what he was doing before. You know what I mean? But I knew something was up, man. His work ethic was mad, the way he was punching in some of them fights. You know what I mean? So let's see. You know, everyone deserves a second chance. So good luck to him. Hopefully he does well, and let's see where he stays in and positions himself in the heavyweight division. Listen, these boys deserve all the credit they do. You know, I'm in the gym with boys here, and it's hard. You know, putting in all the hours God send. And sometimes the guys never make it to that kind of level. So they're up there. Credit to them. Let him go and do his thing. Hopefully he does alright. And I mean, there's going to be some great fights later on in the heavyweight division. You know what I mean? For all these boys.
Mr. Dean Whyte, it's been a pleasure once more to link up. Life feels like it's started to restart, as they say.
Slowly.
Pet Talk.
Back to you guys.
Black Box. Dean Whyte. Subscribe. Thank you.